Hi, welcome to Ocean Yemi. So today I'm going to do a small um very small presentation on head wraps because people, I think Carbonation and others has taken head wraps to a whole another level, and it gets misunderstood. The head wrap is very much misunderstood. The significance of a head wrap, what it means, um, and doesn't necessarily because you wear a head wrap because you're religious. You don't have to wear a head wrap because you are religious. You don't necessarily have to wear have. Sometimes to others it signifies other things, and so what I've done, I found a lady who explains the significance of Rasta women. I think so. Let me see. I think it's not even her actually. I just hope it plays. See, it's weird and I can't see myself on screen.
Back in slavery, a lot of the slave masters' wives were jealous of Black women and didn't like to see Black women and their hairstyles. And you know how Black women can get? We will style a friggin' strand on our head. You can imagine what was happening. Them. Western women wear head covering. Some wear it for style, some wear it for covering or protecting their hair and keeping it neat. It's said that back in slavery, a lot of the slave masters' wives were jealous of Black women and didn't like to see Black women and their hairstyles. And you know how Black women can get? We will style a friggin' strand on our head. You can imagine what was happening and why she felt intimidated by Black women. And so there was a rule now on plantations that Black women had to wear head covering. But again, we're innovative people. So Black women went all out with the head wraps again. So you can't stop it. No matter what we do, we're going to make the best of any situation. Whatever you put at us, we'll make the best of it. Muslim women wear hijabs, but they wear it for, of course, religious reasons. They wear it to show respect to God, to show respect to their men. Most of them, I did a little bit of research, especially on YouTube, for the reason why they wear hijabs, and most of them say that they wear it for protection from men. I don't know. I find that strange. Like, you wear a head covering to protect yourself from men. I guess I don't know. Men are attracted to hair. What I get from them is that they expect men to do them harm. And so they do that to protect themselves from advances. I get that. But I think the way that it sounds is like they protect themselves from men raping them. And I mean, I'm not going to say that there aren't men who rape, but you definitely cannot, use that brush to paint all men. Like, that's only a really small portion of men who would rape you. That one don't make no sense to me. I can understand if you do it for religious reasons. I can understand if you do it for your husband as well. But to say that you do it to protect yourself from men, I don't know. They would have to explain that. They need to explain that one a little bit more to me. The people of Rastafari wear head wraps. Some of them wear turbans. Some of them wear tams. And they wear it for different reasons as well. Some of them don't wear a head covering either. But the ones who do, most of them will always wear a head covering. You'll never see them without a head covering. That reminds me of recently I watched a video of a Rastafari woman up by the place in Blue Mountain. A white man went there to record them, and she took down her turban and she pulled her locks out and was showing him even her scalp. And I said to myself, why is she doing that? That is so strange to see a Farai doing that. And then in the same breath, she says, oh, I'm just doing this for you, you know, because I never show my locks. I never reveal my locks to anybody. I don't go on the road without a head covering. But you're doing this for this white man with a camera for YouTube views. I don't understand. And it's supposed to be a sacrament. Like, I don't understand some people sometimes when they see white people. That really annoyed me. There are some people who really take that seriously. And if a white person were to request something like that, they would see it as extremely offensive. So some people do hold their covenant there. So for Rastafari, they're the closest for me, and with everything. There are so many things that I can relate to Rastafari. We have the same principles, same fundamental principles, the same beliefs, the same morals. There's so many things, and so that's one of the reasons I knew that I had to partner with somebody in Rastafari, because of the type of consciousness that I have. It is only right, it only makes sense that within my space, the group that has the consciousness that I have, Rastafari is ready-made in my culture. It is there for me. And that's one of the beautiful things about it. It's present. It is a gift to me, I believe. And for anyone who has our consciousness within this space, you have to consider Rastafari. What else are you going to consider? It don't make no sense. Again, like so many other things, I can relate to the reasons why.
What I like to say on that one is that how it's not just Rastafari women who covers their head, because there are many doctrines out there, right? And there are people without doctrines out there who cover their hair because they understand like the head covering. Like, before, I used to wear my hair out a lot, right? But as I got older, obviously as you get older, right, your whole mindset changes, because you realize that how you don't have to show your hair, really, right? Because some men would rather get to know a woman through what she says and her mindset and how she is. Rastafari is one branch to which some women express their I keep saying this word, utterance keep coming up. Express their faith or lifestyle through the head wrap. There is also other strings, other trees, other branches where the head wrap is worn as well. And this is also in black groups as well as outside of black groups. Where the wearing of the hair, yes, it's a covering. In Ifa, right? The women don't really cover their hair, but they cover their hair when they have to do certain stuff, when they have to do certain rituals, when they have to pray to the orishas, and they can correct me on this as well. Right, some traditional outfits require, right, has head wraps as well, head wraps, head covering. Though now it's more contemporary now as it was before. It wasn't as contemporary in the 90s to 2000s time. The head wrap has really changed. Not only that, since the colonial, you can talk about the colonial side and stuff. Hi, Rico. You know, talk about the colonialism and schisms, but there's also the head wrap. The head wrap also does signify a rebelliousness. You are not giving in. That's as well as certain hairstyles, the locks, the ras, which many wear like puppy show now. The ras is not seen as what it was before. The ras was seen as a rebellious icon, and as well, and now it's worn as fashion. Rappers wear it as fashion. It's like ras used to be misunderstood. The afro used to be misunderstood. They're just like the head covering, right? So this lady, she's just explaining one side of the coin, one side of the branch, because there's many branches, just like this, just like how it is with many religious stuff. There is significance to everything. Everything have a function. Everything has a have a have a I don't know the word. I always forget words when I come on it. I'm trying to expand my vocabulary. Everything have a significance, right? I find when I wear my headscarf, before I used to braid my hair. I used to, braid my hair a lot. I used to wear afros. I used to wear afro puffs. I used to wear locks. Also, when I started getting into certain stuff, when you start getting into certain energy fields as well, right, and it takes you from one dimension to the other, the headscarf becomes something of a purity. You're covering your head, you're covering the dome, you're protecting your head. You can even wear the headscarf in work. People talk about the ori. You're protecting the ori. You know what I mean? People protect their father and their mother on their head, as well. So yeah, the head wrap can the head wear you can wear by choice. It also help protect your head from chakra and your hair, because your hair is the antenna. Yeah, exactly. And people fail to understand, because now everything's not all different. Really, I'm gonna do a live on how different everything has changed from the 90s till now. Rasta women used to be seen out in the community, or conscious women used to be seen out in the community with their head wraps, their kente cloth, their African attire, in groups. Like the women used to gather in groups, and you'll just see a sea of head wraps. People used to down that. In the West Indies, they used to down the head wrap. I think I explained that in the Spiritual Baptist, the Shelters video. They used to down it. It used to be seen as something as weird, right? So, and the Zionists, which is the revivalists in Jamaica, right? They also went through their transition as well. So, wearing a head wrap carries. There's an air of regal. You are regal, right? So when people see you, right, their whole, I would say, they don't greet you as normal, right? Muslims, if you wrap your hair, the same way Muslims understand the sanctity of a covering of a woman, but I'm not saying that all women have to cover themselves. There is modesty. You can be modest and be, appealing to the eye. Is mostly what comes out of your mouth. So the head covering makes that barrier so that you can have that conversation without that thing. Because men look at the whole of a woman. They look at her hair, they look at her body shape, they look at her how she stands, they look at her lips, look at her eyes. Men are visual creatures by nature. And so when you are talking to a man, unless he is of a certain caliber, he can just talk to you, and there's nothing, and the conversation gets higher and higher. It's a different vibe altogether. Nowadays, because consciousness is changing, the conscious community is changing. It's not the same. The consciousness, there's a level of, okay, right, you're queen, I'm king kind of situation. Now it's not like that. Even the conscious men, they even do certain stuff that is a little off. So even they don't treat you as to how you are dressed as well. But in this day and age, everyone wear wrap, but not for spiritual reasons, etc. Some seem like they do it for fashion. Yeah, they do it for fashion statement. It's a fashion statement. Yeah, and 100%. Some people don't know how to approach me because they're intimidated by a way. Yes, yeah, but it's the ear that you give. Like people think when you see people from Muslim countries, Somalians, even Ugandans who who are Muslimas. The Muslimas would approach you. They're more, it's like a family thing, because you're not seen as like the other people. So there's a difference. Head wraps is a head wrap, particularly now as I'm getting older, because my hair used to be a lot. Now it's a lot, but it's not as much as it used to be because I'm 40. I'm on the 40 going 48, going into my 50s catchment. So whereas when I was younger, where I could flex and do certain stuff, that is not as the same. So it's like a matriarchal kind of status, because you're going into your next level of life. Well, I believe that anyway. So by me wearing my head wrap now, right, which is good, because before I used to braid my hair, wrap my hair, or whatever. But I grew up in a head wrapping community when I was younger, so to me it's nothing to me. I was part of Rasta. That's why I play this lady, because I was part of Rasta at one time. They do call you Empress and stuff, but it's more fashion. It's like a fashion. It's not the same. It's not the same feeling. It's not the same respect like before. Queen Africa was an icon. Now there's Queen Amiga. When they put on their wraps and they go on stage, there is a royalness in her stance. Like Maya Angelou talk about that stance, that presence. There's a different presence, right? You're holding a crowd, you're holding their presence, you're holding the right. So when you talk, when they're singing and they're singing certain stuff, it's a difference. It's not like when it's a normal dance hall song as well, It's your aura and energy you give. Like people feel you before you even approach them. Yeah. 40s are the new 20s and you still can flex in a way, but a mature way. But I know what you're saying. I'll be 29 on the 29th. Oh, you're 29. So there's utterance. Happy birthday. There's utterance to. Oh yeah, let me put up, because somebody already talked on the video. Hold on, Ruby, because Ruby was here before as well, and Wendell was commenting before too. There's an utterance to the headscarf, and this is one thing I like Muslims for, what I admire them for, you know? Even when they're selling, right, people respect them. When a Muslim, when you see a Muslim lady selling her incense, her oud, her sprays, her whatever, my head's hurt me today, her oud, her sprays, or whatever, and they are respected by their family, you know, they have that thing, that there's that thing what most women don't have, I think. This is one of the things I like about Nation of Islam as well. There's a present, they definitely have a presence. It's either the uniform or what they're wearing on their head, or something. So, you know, like I said, I was part of Nation. I got my ex at one time, and it was like they always used to talk about modesty. Modesty was the big thing in the mosque. They always used to talk about it. Then I saw one fashion icon that came on to that fashion one, you know, where the designers do the designs, and she was there. Ayana Ife, I think her name is called. And Ayana kept her how she was dressed. She kept how she looked, and though she made the cloths work, she always kept how she was dressed. She never, you know, her Shaida, and I just saw Akila, who I just posted up on the community tab. They just have something about them. It's just the presence alone, you know. You don't have to talk much, because you know how to talk. You can keep an eye contact with someone and they're not looking at you a certain way, and it's nice. Even when a Nation of Islam man approach, it's not seen as a sexual thing. There's like no agenda behind it, right? Because especially if they know you from the mosque before, it's not like that. It's on a different level. Rasta men used to approach women differently, but now because they're known for making loads of babies and doing all sorts now, it's not the same. So that's how I look at it. But the head wrap, because head wraps are not just head wraps now. Head wraps can be made into the most beautifulest cloths, textures, colors, you name it. Honestly, I used to have so much cloth in this house. I used to drive my children crazy. I used to have so much cloth, so much this, so much cloth, so much. Every dress have a headscarf. Every dress have a cloth that falls on the shoulder. It used to be like that in this house. My children used to be dressed from head to toe in African clothes, especially when I was part of the Rasta phase. Cloth, the cloth, the kente cloth, especially if you understand Ghana's kente cloth. They said that how it's just like with the Scottish people, where they have clans. Every clan on the cloth carries every clan's signature in the cloth, right? So when you're putting on that cloth, you're carrying someone's clan on you, right? But people don't understand this. They say, oh, it's fashion. Oh, I like this one. And because of how I was saying, the people who dislike the cloth, now they're wearing the cloth, because it used to annoy me. I was one of them. I'll be somewhere and I'll see someone dressed in the cloth, and it wasn't a black person. I I was very offended. I used to get offended by it a lot, because to me, I just think that how, right, they don't understand, and they are the oppressor. And even now, I know that ether is far and wide, and anybody can join ether now. That I understand now. But before, I used to get very offended. Right, so when I used to see white ladies who was rastas, I used to think, oh my God, why are you trying so hard? I used to think like that. Why are you trying so hard? Because they try so hard, like no eyebrows. They have the locks, they tie the hair, they be trying to, and I'll be like, wow, because my understanding when I got into the conscious movement, when they explain about what the ancestors went through, right? And I used to look at them, especially when it comes to wrapping of the hair, particularly. I used to feel like, why are you wearing it? Sometimes you just want to drag it off them, like you're thinking, what the hell? But this lady talks on the Rasta level of it, you know what I mean? That's why I'm playing her. So I'm gonna play her a little more. But anyway, that's just my little uptake.
Many of them cover their hair, and for them, their locks is a covenant. It is in honor to Haile Selassie and their devotion to Rastafari. They protect and cover their hair, which is like an antenna and a connection to Haile Selassie, to the higher one.
Give it.
Or to the higher being. It is their connection to source then. And so for me, it is very similar. I cover my hair because it is a part of my crown chakra. My crown chakra is the base of my spirituality. It is my connection, my spiritual connection to source, to my higher self. I think it's important that I protect that because my hair is a part of that. My hair is an antenna. One of the main reasons why I cover it so much since I've been locked, when I wear it out, the response that I get, the energy is just very different. People suck me in more and they look at me more and look at me longer and harder. And sometimes I cannot gauge if it is a negative thought or if it is a positive thought. And so I don't want all of that. Comfortable. I don't know who is going to be there. I have to cover my head. If my hair is not covered, it's because I'm in a comfortable space. Yes, I do uncover it sometimes on YouTube, on these videos, because it's different. It's very different when you see it in person than when you're seeing it on video. I'm not feeling the energy of your eyes like right now, live. You know what I mean? It's different. That's one of the reasons why I keep it covered, simply to protect my energy. I think that makes sense than saying that I'm using it to protect me from men. I think it's more about protecting your energy, protecting your spiritual energy as well. from other people. That's it. I think I covered it. Why I wear a head covering, but I am not religious. I am spiritual, but not religious. And so it is not because I have a God and I worship a God. And so, oh, I forgot to mention, yes, I didn't remember this. My father and my brother, they're Christians, but they attend First Church, which is where the virgin name? Uh, shit, what's his name? Oh my gosh. Vegas went to their church and there was this big thing with them. One of the videos went viral of him. A lot of people hate him because he was saying that women who wear makeup and wear jewelry and some things are Jezebels. And he's really extreme. He's on the radical end of Christianity for sure. But there's some things I can relate to them with. There are lots of things that I can relate to them actually. But one of them is that women must wear a head covering all the time. And they wear head covering because the Bible says that they are to be in prayer all the time. And so for them to be in prayer all the time, there should be head covering. Well, women, because women should cover their head when they're in the presence of God, when they're in the house of God, they should always cover their head. And so he says that the Bible says that you should always be in prayer. And so because of that, you can be praying at any moment at all. And so you should always have a head covering. So women should wear a head covering all the time. And that also it is to show respect to her man and respect to God. I can understand the part about always being in prayer because for me, I'm always in meditation. I say this all the time when people ask me, how do you meditate? Meditation is constant for me. I'm always going within self. It's not overthinking. It's just always working on my thoughts. I'm always making time to center myself then. My father is very religious and but like I always say about Christians, they're so closed and not open to learning anything else from anybody else. But I'm not like that. I'm willing to learn from you. I'm always willing and open to a middle ground, somewhere you and I can meet. I don't have a problem. I can't meet with you. I cannot discuss with you because we have different beliefs. I cannot hear what you have to say. And a lot of times you'll find, especially with my consciousness, is that we're more alike than we are different. But Christians tend not to pay attention to that. They more focus on the differences between us. And I don't know, that's just not Christ-like, is it? And that's why I think it would be better if they were to focus more on Christ consciousness and not being religious, because Christ consciousness is a more, anyway, stories for other days. That's a whole other video. Christ consciousness. Okay, so that's it, guys. That is
Right. There is a model as well that I wanna also put up. She's a Jamaican lady. Oops, did I do it wrong? Oh, I did it wrong. Okay. She's a Jamaican lady, and she talks about when she was a model. I think her video is after hers. I think. Is there a video there? Video's disappeared. Right. She was a model, and she talks about. I used to put her up a lot. I can't even find her now. Oh my days. Hold on, I'll be back. Every time, you know what's strange, right? When I actually start to hold on, let me see. The model who became a wrestler. I'm sorry, people. I'm gonna have to just leave this how it is because I want the chat to stay, so I'm not even gonna take it out. Right, there is a model that became a wrestler, and she talks about. I don't even know. I don't think I can use that one. And she talks about how she became a wrestler, but you know, YouTube's so ridiculous sometimes. No, I think I see the video she's talking about. Yeah, I see the video she's talking about. Okay. Well, the reason why I'm using the wrestler, because that's the one that everybody. Oh, it's a BBC. It's a BBC. Oh dear, there she is. Right, she became a wrestler. She talks how people dealt with her after she became a wrestler. I don't know if I'll be able to play it on here. But you know, YouTube be all funny. She talked about. Oh, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it on the community tab because I used to have her as one of my videos, and she spoke about the cloth. She spoke about the ignorance of the parents, how they said, right, you're not joining them people over there, like Rastasism, particularly you're seen as a black-hearted man, but the women has a lot of they have a lot of what you call it, they're like called the women of virtue. They're called the women of virtue because of how they hold themselves as well. Um, how they hold themselves. I think this one can talk aloud in it. No. Oh, it doesn't talk aloud. Right. So the lady, when she became a wrestler, she spoke about it on text, I think. She spoke about it on text. And it was really nice to see that type of person on text. There's also a lady that I follow on Facebook, and she talks about how when she used to see the rest of the women, well, it doesn't not necessarily arrest the women in African attire, and how they all sat together, and the children be playing, and they'll be there talking about books and different things and dietary spirituality most times, and she was really intrigued, and then she got into it herself. Kajira now, her locks used to be down to her legs, and Kajira last year cut her hair. Now Kajira always used to wrap her hair and all sorts of stuff like that. Now she lets, but she lets her hair. She lets her hair be free, but she always wraps tie the front of the hair. You know, keep the third eye. I think it's to do with the third eye as well. And when she cut her hair, right, she still looked good, even though she didn't have the hair. So, but you know, people, Like people talk about women with short hair, how they look manly, and only some women can pull that off, and blah de blah de blah. There's a whole heap of schisms that sometimes I think like we as a people we don't. Sometimes we need to look at a bigger picture than certain things. Sometimes what about just taking a person just as you see them? What about just dealing with a person on a human level? Even if a head person is wearing a head wrap, and she's showing her humanitarian, her sense of self, because she knows her sense of self. She don't have to tell it to the whole world. She just show it, because that is just a figment of who she is. But people just get it wrong anyway. So, you know, so that's how I see it. All right. So we're gonna see the model from Anguilla. I think she's from Anguilla. And I think she's going to talk about her wrapping her hair and stuff like that. Her name is Kai Davis.
Kai Davis is up next, right here on Conversations with Nicola.
Hopefully it'll show. Oh, it must be echoing.
Usually someone on the sides encouraging me. There was a little excited moment, I think, when I got into it during the Miss Antigua time, when I was very eager, actually, to go in for the Miss Universe, having seen Trinidad and Tobago do so well in 1998 as well. That's right. So I was very inspired. And then after a little while, I kind of got a little tired because that year I won the Miss Caraval just before giving up my Miss Antigua and JC's titles. So I ended up going for almost 2 years in an ambassadorial capacity, and just being in that circle, that same glitz and glamour circle for 2 years in an ambassadorship position was really taxing. And I felt at the end of it that I was glad for it to be over. I had fun while it lasted. And so I wasn't really as eager for the Miss Universe as I was originally. But then I eventually made up my mind to do it. And once I put my mind to something, that's me. When I put my mind to something, I'm very wholehearted. I get right in it, you know? And so that transformation happened there. And then, but underneath, there was still Kai. That little, my roots was still, my roots were still Kai. So that interest never left. I just got distracted. And so when I finally had a chance to settle after coming back from Miss Universe, everything just started falling into place spiritually, you know?
So it was a chapter in Kai Davis's life. And chapter closed.
Yeah.
And just to add, I mean, you mentioned 1998 Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm sure many young women would have been inspired by the likes of Janelle Pennica, Miss Young, Miss Universe, the first Black Miss Universe, and of course Wendy Fitzwilliams. And so, you know, there's always that drive for young, beautiful Black women in the Caribbean to say, yes, well, they did it, so we can do it too. Did you ever think that you would win Miss Antigua Barbuda? And did you think that you would have done so well at the Miss Universe pageant? In terms of the representation.
Hi, Passion. I'm not being rude. I'm just playing the video because I'm hoping she gets to the part where she becomes a wrestler, where she talks about becoming a wrestler. To me, anybody can wear a headscarf. Anybody can wear a headscarf. To me, like, is this like some women wear it when they go out to special occasions, right? Some people are very, very into their roots, right? And it shows outwardly. So it like I said, it's not, it's you don't necessarily have to be a Rasta person, a Muslima. That's where Carbonation got it wrong. Many people wear head wraps as show, as what they call them, wagonists. Right, in the West Indies, that's bandwagons, something. You basically, is up to you. Like, you can learn to tie hair. I personally don't teach how to tie hair, because like I do my hair one way now because this is more comfortable. Not only that, I have to keep telling people I have not got locks underneath my wrap. I always repeat it. The reason why I tell them that, because I don't want them to get me twisted and put me in the wrong lane or in the wrong box, so-called. Because people, when they see a head wrap on a woman, they just assume, okay, she's Rasta. Not necessarily, right? Or she's something else. There's so many strings or so many branches out there. There's so many things. You can even be a Hare Krishna and still probably tie your hair. You know what I mean? So because we see people take on, what's they call it, cultures, or they call it appropriation, but not knowing the significance behind it. And I feel that's where the strength of a woman lies. You have to be as mystique, magical, in all sorts. Like Queen Afua talks about the head wrap. She talks about the lapa in one of her books, right? She always lets you know about the lapa and the head wrap. The lapa is the thing that you wrap around your waist. It's about the modesty. Like I said, I mean, I'm not preaching to people who dresses a certain way, because there's no point I'm preaching and telling you off, because I was young once, so I know exactly how it goes. It's just that my way I expressed it when I was young is different to how people express it to when other people was young. So what I will see, I probably wouldn't approve of, because I'm of that age where, like, you know, I'm like old Granny Mo. Oh, them youngsters. Oh, yeah, I'm one of those. So I won't see it the same, right? To me, when you wear a head wrap or covering, right? To me, it's just me coming into another stage of my life now, where sometimes what probably I'll say, oh yeah, oh whatever. Oh, you know, I wear wraps for different reasons now. I think I wear it for different reasons. I wear colors for different reasons. I know when I have to go to a interview that I have to tie my hair a certain way. I can't be as expressive as I normally could, and as that. So people gets it very, very, very wrong. Yeah, her book's very good. Sacred Woman, the first one was the best one. Okay. Sacred Woman. I know people talk about Queen Afua and but I'm going to put that aside and look at the book, what the book does. The book tells you about a lot about women as a whole. The different gateways that it takes you through, even though it deals with Egyptian ideas. The book also tells you of you know, finding that man, finding to be that man, that woman, you know, when you're finding that relationship. Queen Afua as well, her womb dance signifies femininity, even though women hold femininity in them anyway. That's why I don't understand why people argue on certain stuff. Sometimes you have to pick your battles. Right? Femininity. The headscarf definitely makes you have a little more presence. You know why? Because when people see that headscarf, they're not sure which way you lie. They can't identify what exactly is going on, because you know, you could just like tying your hair or whatever, putting in a nice little colorful bow or whatever. I have a book, but I don't understand it, and I pick it up and I put it down. No, what you need to do, Passion, what you need to do is go through it. You read through it first. You don't necessarily do the gateways. You read through it. You get to grips with it. You understand it. Not all diets suit everybody, right? Because she did that wellness one too, the blue book, right? Which I have. I have the blue book. I have the first book and the blue book. and I think I have the one in between. I can't remember, but the wellness one is just the same thing. She just repeated the same thing in the first and the second book, right? It just right, but with the sacred woman, if you go through every single gateway, you don't right, you get acquainted with the deities that is mentioned. You find that information on them. Yeah, the purple book. I think I know which book you're talking about. I think I know. The purple book is something wellness, isn't it? Right? You get acquainted with the book. Like with most books, you get acquainted with the book. I haven't read a book in a long time, but I'm trying. I have to try and go back to what I used to do when my children was younger. Right? You get acquainted with the gateways. You get acquainted with the things. There's certain things you can use the book as a reference. You can use the book as a go-to. You can use the book as a reasoning tool. You can you can give it to your daughter, but there's a book that's for the younger women as well. I think she's got one for the younger women, right? But there is books out there, right? There's also Shola Riwa. Shola Riwa was another one. She deals with the chakras. She deals with the chakras. She deals with the deities. So she deals with the opening of the chakras, the closing down of the chakras. She's quite deep. Shola Riwa, right? So there's many books. Even when you're reading about Rasta has a deep history. Rasta has a very deep history in a lot of things. Their struggles, how they came to be in the community like how they are now. Rasta is worldwide. So Chinese, Indian, anybody can be Rasta, right? On top of that, when you look at the wise men in the hills with the locks under the trees that fast for hundred days, I think they fast for, they'll be under the trees, the sadhus. So there is many ways. That's what I said. There's many ways to nirvana. People are so-called black sheep of the family. They don't know why they're black sheep of the family. They never understand it. There's always a one black sheep in the family, the one who goes on quest. The quest is to clear the family, to cut and clear and that. Okay, the struggle I had was it kind of went against everything I was taught in Christianity and that I'm being this. Oh, okay, you're Christian. Okay. Yes, I know with the idols and stuff in it. Is that's the thing in it? It's the idols. Yeah, the idols. Yeah, I know people have problems with certain things because of when they were brought up. They wasn't brought up understanding certain stuff. Even in Christianity, the laying of hands. If you really look into it, right, you'll see that there is a healing significance in it. There's one that I used to follow. He talks about when they're in church, when they're singing, there's a vibration that goes through the church because everybody's in sync with each other. But that's just another story. That's another live. It's all about, it's a big kind of like purple. I think I know the Sacred Woman 20th Anniversary Edition Guide to Healing. Yes. Sacred Women is the name. Oh, yes. Sacred Women. Okay, yeah. Sacred Women. Yeah, that's what they're called. The group. That's what they are. They're the ones who go out and they heal people and they know every single herb. They know every single thing. They call them emerald greens. In America, they're called emerald greens, right? And they stand out. There's a lady I follow. She's an emerald green. She was an emerald green, now she's an Aoife priestess. There's another one, there's quite a few of them who's gone on to bigger things because that's just the route. They start off with that and then they go and they go further. But each thing, what that book shows, sometimes you just have to be open-minded, just open it, Read it. There is herbs, there is recipes in the Sacred Woman book that helps the body, cleanse the body. There's diets. You don't have to do everything in the Sacred Woman book. It's not a necessity. If you feel that how right you cannot relate to the book, sometimes it's best to hand it to someone who can relate to that book, because there's always someone who do understand the book. I don't want to interrupt you with, oh, it's okay. There's always someone who needs a book like that. There's always someone who needs a book like that. You know, they talk about the women, the binding of the belly after you had the baby, all that stuff. I think Queen Afua covers all that. She covers sacred sex, which people don't understand. They think, oh yes, Kama Sutra, this is that. Kama Sutra, blah, blah, do whatever. No, she covers all that. She covers the reason why you should meet the man's family, because a lot of women is married and got married and their parents, and there wasn't a meeting done before. There wasn't that kind of thing. So there is many strands to that book. There's many strands. Or if you can't read that book, you go and get her other book, the City of Wellness. You get City of Wellness. Well, she took this a whole dietary pyramid in there. So, you know, I could go on because I used to read the books, I used to do the books. So yeah, but anyways, I'm going to go back to this one now. Now, hopefully she's going to get to the point where she's talking about the Rastaism and the rest of what I'm going to say Rastaism, what she's into.
Yes.
You know?
Well, the Miss Antigua Carnival Queen, I was very energized at that time to do it. I really felt that I had a good shot.
Yes.
I had a good team working with me. I was very excited about it. I was like so wholeheartedly into it that I felt I really had a good shot. When I did the local international, the local Miss Antigua to go on to the international show, I at that point I had built my confidence still. So I did think I had a good shot at that time too, but I also knew that the other girls who were going in were very capable, you know, of representing just as well. And so, you know, I went into that confident, but still knowing that, you know, it could go anyway. So I was happy to become the person who was represented for Miss Universe, because I think there were 3 different shows we could have represented at for that time. So I was pretty happy to be, because Miss Universe was my thing, you know, and so I was glad for that. At Miss Universe, I actually had my mind geared more at maybe, as you're saying, achieving more on stage.
That's right.
You know, but I guess that wasn't in the cards for me. At the end of the day, I actually feel proud knowing that my accomplishment was made off stage and was based on my personality and my spirit, and not, you know, so much on the on stage, because on stage is a few minutes and off stage is like your life, you know, the real part of it. And so that ended up being something, an accomplishment more that meant more to me than had I, you know, maybe become a runner-up or something, you know. So I was really pleased about that.
So I'm going to ask the odd question. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Did you get a chance to see the now president of the United States at the Miss Universe pageant?
Yes, I did.
You know, I had to ask that.
I think the personality is still intact. I don't see a difference, really.
Well, let's just leave it at that.
Just leave it right there.
So, yes. Kai, here we are in 2017, 2003 Miss Universe, 2004. You're getting back to who you are.
Yes.
Many will say, what happened to Kai?
Yeah, many did say.
She going mad?
I know, yeah.
She's smoking something. What happened? She depressed. You know, she gone mad.
Had
Kai
a nervous
gone crazy.
breakdown.
Have you heard about Kai Davis?
Yes.
She living in the bush.
I know.
Or, you know.
Oh, yes.
How did you deal with that? And was it a transition like that? I mean, I don't think it was immediate. I'm just asking. No. 2004, it would have been gradual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What I can say is that I kept feeling like there was a step missing, like I'm supposed to be doing. So I just couldn't figure out where it was. So in seeking my direction, I decided, I've been working at this place where I was working at the time for quite a while. I feel like I need to branch out and do something different, feel a little stagnated. And so I said, I'm going to take a leap. I'm going to take some long leave. I'm going to go to Trinidad and I'm going to visit with my agency down there, see if I can work along with it and, see if there's another avenue that I can explore. And I mean, literally like about a week or two before, no, I shouldn't say so soon. Let's say about a month before, I met one of the brothers for the church who reminded me that, I was supposed to come and visit, which I was so glad because there was no communication really except for the chance meeting on the road. And I said, I'm going to get the directions I'm going to go because I've been curious about coming to visit this community for so long. And so I actually came to visit now closer to the time, about 2 weeks to a week and a half or so before I went to Trinidad. And I mean, when I came here, the spirit was just so real. I mean, the questions I wanted were answered. And so this was like, I left, but I knew that there's something telling me I'm going to come back, and I did come back. I made that connection. After coming back, I can't really say it was slow. It was like I came back December. And I mean, I came back with my mindset like, well, this is it. I saw everything I needed to see. I'm ready to make this transition. So when I came back in December of 2004, that's actually started my trad right there. I was not combing anymore. I'm not making up the face. I'm not wearing any more pants. I'm just, I'm going wholeheartedly into this whole thing. People were just like, okay. Not shocked at first because I'm a person with my head.
If I can get moving it. Let me play it on the audio. Where is it now? Now it wants to work now. Funny.
Ahead, I'm a person who, but I think they notice things, because I believe in the piercing of ears. I stopped wearing my earrings. I stopped, putting on my makeup. And people ask on an odd question, how are you rapping? You get all the time now, And after I started expressing that, I'm taking the leap, I'm treading Rastafari. I mean, maybe you don't hear it in their words, but you see the faces like, what? And when I decided to go all out, which was when I was pregnant with my son, and I decided, well, I'm going to just forget about even going back into the workplace. And so I'm going to focus on my life and my faith. I actually did take a very long break from being out and about. So when all the whisperings were carrying on, I would get like secondhand whispers, not direct. And so I can honestly say I had a good transition. It didn't really affect me the way it maybe would have if I was constantly being out there and constantly getting that criticism in my face. I still would like to believe I would be strong enough to just, blow past that. But realistically, maybe it would have affected me more. But I really had just taken a whole break from being out there and just centering. And as you say, getting very grounded. And this was the place to do it. I was very calm. I was happy. I knew things were being said, but I was just on another level. Just so happy to just own me, again, and just be comfortable in my skin and just be myself and don't have to worry about if my hair is in place today, maybe you put on a little makeup, oh my gosh, somebody's coming by with a camera, let me go in the bathroom and touch up, So I was just glad to just be me. And
I have to ask, because I'm listening to you, I'm hearing you, and I'm thinking, wow, walk a mile in your shoe. I don't know if I can do that. And I guess when you're called, then you answer.
That's it.
And many of us are, and some of us are still trying to find our way.
Yeah.
I just, I'm not sure how you do it, but obviously this is who you are, Kai.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you would have second guessed and questioned yourself.
And in my questioning right now, my question is like, turn back and do what? Go back. I can't even phrase it to make sense to me. Like, go back to what? I'm not going back, I'm moving forward, So if I'm going forward, if somewhere down the line, something should happen to enlighten me on a higher meditation, then I guess I'll ascend to that. But for right now, this is the heights of where I think I can be. I see the vision of even being in this and taking it further. That's my aim right now. How can I elevate this?
So let's talk about the spirituality. Yeah. Well, I guess you can, give me the proper term, but in terms of that, the higher heights, what do you feel, if you care to share with us, what is a really good day for Kai? And in the community, what is that feeling? Is it a feeling of completion? What is it? I would just love for you to explain, because a lot of us just want to feel that.
Yes. Well, you're in a good spiritual place. You're at peace in your mind, or as we would say, in your heavens. You're at peace because you're in a good flow with the people around you. You're being true and honest about yourself and to yourself. You're in good communication with your creator, with the earth. So being home on a regular day, if I can be in the ground, if I'm amongst my sisters and we can do something productive as a sisterhood, or we're working with the children. And to me, one of the best days is like when we have a holiday, as we would say, and maybe we're having a celebration. We usually do a Nyabingi session, which is like a church session. And so the whole day, from the time you wake up in the morning, there's just like a energy, a little buzzing energy. And you get busy, we clean up together, we cook together, and everybody just moving in sync, and we prepare, we put up our banners, and we set up and we decorate, and then we go and we get ready and we sit down and we have bingy together. To me, that's like the best day.
And I'm seeing Kai the dancer there, as you just, I'm seeing it.
Thank you. I dance is something as well that's deep within me. Yeah, I don't
Let's
think
talk
I'll
about
ever
the community, though. Tell us
Yes.
a little bit about the community. For those who will say, oh, that community, all they do is just,
Let me see. The pieces of things. So she wants around, is what most people do. They go, they look, they find, they fetch. Right? You always, sometimes you drop away, you drop away, you come back, you drop away, you fall off, you come back, you fall off, you come back, right? It happens, right? People in real life, when you're doing diets, you say, okay, today I'm not going to eat loads of this today, and then you end up eating what you said you're not going to eat. Today you said, right, the next day you say, I'm going to do, what do they call it? The New Year's resolution. Oh, I'm not going to smoke. And they end up smoking. There is loads to understanding of a community, right? Because bear in mind, in the 90s, particularly, right, when Arrested Development came out, right? There's a song that Arrested Development talks about his colors that he wears and how big and bright it stood out, and the woman that he was walking with, and someone made a derogatory thing at his woman, and he had to fight the person because he's protecting his queen, right, in his mind. So when people say, "Oh yeah, that's all they did is sit down and smoke ganja," that's the majority of them do that, and there's some of them who don't even do that, right, because they think that how, right, you have to, right, that how you have to drink it as a tea, right, and that's their thinking, that's their mindset. People get it all wrong, and they, right, before alkaline and disalign and all that came out, there was ital food before that. These women used to make ital food, right? These women used to take care of their children, make sure the king is sorted, do his clothes, even though there is some things of the community that is a bit despondent, right? But at the same time, there's certain things. I'm like, sometimes I can't dislike the rest of the movement because I right? They will go out there and they will work in the community. They work in mental health capacity, all sorts of capacity, with their tall head wraps on their head. With I don't like this screen now. Hold on, I'm gonna turn it off because it keeps buffering. It's annoying me. All right. Sometimes it happens like that. It happens like that. It's a gradual thing. Don't forget, most people have around it. Yeah, there's a lot of ignorance surrounding. There's a lot of ignorance surrounding as well. But who am I? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and educate people on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know if I speak to an Islamic person, probably they might educate me something, right? But when these women was walking around with their tall head wraps, people used to scoff at them. Now they're in the community. Now everybody wants to wear the locks and wrap up their hair, but it's more seen as a fashionable thing now. It's a fashionable thing. It's not a struggle, right? There's no struggle behind it. So when to go visit, because she was invited you can upon them. I don't know whether you can. I think you get invited to the night bingies, you know, and then that's how it goes through. She sounded like she's part of a Rasta community. She's not the outside, because there's rogue Rasta too, right? There's all sorts of stuff. Oh, I know, it's annoying me. It's annoying me. The in and outness. I don't know why it's going in and out. This is what I like to do on my phone. So please put a 1 if you can hear me very clearly, because it's annoying me too. It does that to me. The other day it was so good. It played so well. Even I was impressed. I'm sorry. My Wi-Fi is a bit crazy, but you know, you only work with what you can work with at present. So, you know, but yeah, there's a lot of ignorance around certain communities. That's all I can say on what I see and what I understand. It's not about, and I'm not saying be a hippie and love everybody. No, I'm not. But she went and she found the community. She sounds more happier than any person maybe because she found where she's supposed to be. And you can't really be upset with her. People can't be upset with her for that. They said that she turned weird. You hear how the lady said, it's like you turned weird. It's like you went funny. It's not like you went funny. She just finding herself.
You know, they're not educated. The children running around like, you know. Let's settle that right now.
Yeah, let's dispel all of
Let's
those.
settle that.
No, most of the people who are here, if they have not completed school, they've in the system, they've definitely completed school in the spirit. When they're now uneducated persons here. Everybody who's here is here not because they can't do better than here, but because this is where we want to be. There's a mission, and our mission is to have our children in an environment that is so different from what we grew up in. There are some persons here who are born and raised here. They had a small period of time in the school system and then decided that it was really not for the best. It was not elevating. And so if it's not elevating and it's either stagnating or holding you down, it's best to get rid of it. So what we try to do, that's why we even have our homeschool. And so is to just create an environment that is free for the children, that they understand freedom. I grew very different. My children are in an environment now where they can frolic and run free and they go all over. I was raised in a yard where you have to be very careful. My mom was very protective of me and my sister. We couldn't really go out on the road and play and run around the neighborhood like, you know, some children are allowed to do. And so I'm glad that my children have the chance to experience something different. Where here it might seem like, you know, maybe because you don't know vision or we haven't manifested certain things for persons to see, that you mightn't see the plans that we have or the ideas that we're working towards manifesting. But right, in due time, as it happens, you'll see. But we have school going on, so definitely not unambitious. We have our ground working. So I even resent persons saying, oh, all they do is farming. Farming is a very important thing. Yes. I mean, all of us have to eat to live. So food is of utmost importance. And no, we don't just sit down here and smoke ganja and we're idling. We're productive people. Yes, cannabis is a very important part of our lifestyle, our liberty. Because it is like it's a sacrament. It's like going to church and there's no incense or there's no communion. It's a ceremonial, it's a sacramental element too far, right? Plus, it is such a it's a mind-blowing herb that has so many benefits, so many avenues where it can be helpful to mankind, that is just unreal that it's even illegal in the first place, which is why we always encourage people, before you argue about it being legal, research how it became illegal in the first place. And once you've done that, then you'll start to open your eyes and see that there may not be that stigma that you've picked up on all these years. That might not be quite so. And I think the world is waking up to that right now. So I dispel all of those things. People are going to say things because they don't know. And so I always welcome people coming to ask, and you'll understand a lot better. So for the public, I don't have a problem. Anybody can come ask me. Anybody ask me anything, I'm like, thank you for asking, rather than standing aside and just making a speculation, because that's what we do. I mean, naturally as human beings. So no, there's a lot that we have going on. We have a lot of creative and talented people here. We have cooks, we have dressmakers and designers, we have persons who have been putting together documents for even our different areas, our different offices within the church and so on, that you're just amazed. I know anytime any of us go out and we speak anywhere, people are always eager to come and find out, where did you study? I hear that all the time with our high priest. What university did you go to? And he said, well, the highest university, which is the spirit. He read his Bible, he read all these other spiritual books from Africa and Ethiopia, and he absorb all this knowledge. And once you're geared at something, once you're focused on something, you're going to put your all into it. And so that's all you're seeing. You're seeing the fruits of devotion and the fruits of dedication, livication, as we will say. We like to change our words to sound more positive. So we won't say dedication, we'll say livication, So these are the things that help us to stay up and to stay positive. And that's the importance of the community, having support. Because when I'm on my own and I have a weak moment, it's just me. And so maybe I succumb to that little weak moment. But when I'm in a community and I look and I see my sisters over there holding the faith, I see my brothers over there, and it changes.
Thank you so much, Taylor. So the cat for this PK is actually...
Okay, there is something I've seen and I want to bring this one forward too. Hold on. Hold on. Let me find it. This is what I was talking about earlier. That's what we're going to say a whole heap.
Tignon. Published by Wikipedia. A tignon is a type of head covering. A large piece of material tied or wrapped around the head to form a kind of turban that somewhat resembles the West African gel. It was worn by Creole women of African descent in Louisiana beginning in the Spanish colonial period, and continuing to a lesser extent to the present day. Tignon law. This headdress was the result of sumptuary laws passed in 1786 under the administration of Governor Esteban Rodriguez Miro. Called the Tignon laws, they prescribed and enforced oppressive public dress for female gens de color in colonial society. Historian Virginia M. Gould notes that Miro hoped the law would control women who had become too light-skinned or who dressed too elegantly, or who, in reality, competed too freely with white women for status and thus threatened the social order. Afro-Creole protest. Miro's intent of having the tignon mark inferiority had a somewhat different effect, according to historian Carolyn Long, who noted, instead of being considered a badge of dishonor, the tignon became a fashion statement. The bright reds, blues, and yellows of the scarves, and the imaginative wrapping techniques employed by their wearers, are said to have enhanced the beauty of the women of color. The women who were targets of this decree were inventive and imaginative. They decorated tignons with their jewels and ribbons, and used the finest available materials to wrap their hair. In other words, Hay effectively reinterpreted the law without technically breaking the law, and they continued to be pursued by men. The tignon law remained in place into the antebellum era, and while the original desire of the law was to create racial differences, the adoption of the tignon by Empress Josephine made it stylish for white women, as well as women of color, to wear their hair, in the Creole style, with a tignon wrap. In the early 19th century, the tignon was associated with French fashion, which appropriated styles from a variety of cultures, and with a sense of Frenchness. Tignons past and present. The tignon can be wrapped in many ways, and it was and is worn in a different way by every woman. Madras was a popular fabric for tignons among both free and enslaved populations, and has become iconic. Tignons were often created out of mismatched scraps of undyed fabric given to slaves by their masters. The patchwork of material was made to appear festive. Tignons worn by free women of color or enslaved women in Haiti, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Saint Lucia and Dominica, was made from Madras fabric, even had hidden messages. The tignon is experiencing a revival in Louisiana. It is found particularly in Creole-themed weddings. Celebrities such as Erykah Badu and Jill Scott continue to wear headdresses, as a celebration of Afro-American culture.
Yeah, that's what I like. I love when I see something and it's informative. It's like wow. You know, they tried to make them look ugly, and instead they got more and more beautiful. Man, ancestors went through it all. That's what I can say. Right, so that lady, she was just expressing that the community she was a part of, and why people misunderstand the community just because of the outlook of how the women and the men look, thinking that all they do is sit and smoke, and that's it, when they do a lot more than that. So I'm going to still cover more of the history of the head wrap, because I think this is more what this live is about, really. I really want to delve into it, because people misunderstand the misunderstanding of the head wrap, the misunderstanding why people wear it. And that's why when I saw the tignon, I thought, yes, that is it, because that is exactly it. They made the people, they think that when you wear it, people think that how, because I wear head wrap, it's not gonna look good. It more, if anything, it enhances what you have already. The face, your face, it's like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There was talk about beauty in the eye of the beholder. So when they're trying to make someone ugly, actually making them look more pretty. You know what I'm saying? But, anyways, I'm going to play this one.
The History of Head Wraps, Then, There, and Now. Published by Naturally Curly. Head wraps are traditional attire in many sub-Saharan African cultures. The Yoruba in Nigeria call their artfully folded wraps jaless. Ghanaian women call theirs dukus. South African and Namibian women often use the Afrikaans word doek. Where, when and how head wraps are styled may represent wealth, ethnicity, marital status, mourning or reverence. Despite the dispersal of African communities due to the transatlantic slave trade, emancipation, the Great Migration and globalization, this black hair fashion has stood the test of time and space. The head wrap materially links Black women of the West with the traditions of their ancestors, and with their cousins across the Atlantic. Throughout the antebellum American South, South America and the Caribbean, many slave masters required enslaved Black women to wear head coverings. Headscarves served functional purposes like protecting women's scalps from the sun, sweat, grime, and lice. They were also symbolic markers, indicating a slave's inferiority in the social hierarchy of the time period. But enslaved Black women found many creative ways to resist. For example, in parts of Central America like Suriname, Black women used the folds in their headscarves to communicate coded messages to one another that their masters could not understand. In Afro-Creole culture, head wrap traditions are a classic example of turning lemons into lemonade in spite of oppression. In 18th century Louisiana, free mixed-race Creole communities served as a buffer class between powerful whites and enslaved Blacks. But as French and Spanish men sought and forced relationships with women of color, race and class lines became increasingly obscure. In 1785, Spanish colonial governor Esteban Rodriguez Miro mandated that Afro-Creole women wear tignons, a turban-like head wrap, to undermine their exotic allure.
Yeah, you heard that part already, isn't it? The tignon. You see it in Zola, the slave girl. The tignons. So yeah, basically this is why I wanted to just cover the live on the head wraps. Why people wear it. People wear it for all sorts of reasons. I don't think you need to be in a religious reason. Sometimes you just find in your roots, and that's how it is. And wraps are beautiful things. I mean, now both sexes can wear it now, men and women as well. Even Bobo Dreads wear it. Wear scarves on their head. And it's exactly what that lady just said earlier about the Rastafari movement. See, the Rastafarianism is a spiritual and cultural movement that emerged in Jamaica in the 1930s with the roots in Africa and Caribbean history and traditions. One of the most recognizable aspects of Rastafarian fashion is the use of head wraps, which serve as an expression of identity, spirituality, and cultural heritage. In the blog, we will explore the history, meaning behind the Rastafarian head wraps, as well as provide a guide on how to tie which they will. Whether you are a fashion looking to incorporate head wraps into your personal style, or simply interested in learning more about Rastafarian culture, so they're going about the post. So the history of Rastafarian head wraps. The use of the head wraps as a form of clothing cultural expression can be traced back to various African cultures where they were used and worn by men and women of different social and religious backgrounds. In these cultures, head wraps were not just a fashion statement, but also had a practical purpose, such as protecting the head and the face from the sun, wind, and dust. In context, the Rastafarianism head wraps have a rich history, cultural significance. The Rastafari movement emerged in Jamaica in 1930s as a response to the social and political oppression of Black people in the Caribbean and around the world. Rastafarians saw head wraps as a way to reclaim their African identity and reject the Eurocentric beauty standards imposed on them by colonialism. Over time, the use of the head wraps became more widespread among Rastafarians, both in Jamaica and other parts of the world. Today, head wraps are defining the aspect of Rastafarian women's clothing and culture, with different colors, patterns representing different beliefs and values. For example, red, gold, and green are often used in Rastafarian head wraps to symbolize the blood and the wealth and the vegetation of Africa. Black and white head wraps are also common, representing the struggle for freedom and equality and diligently of the good and evil in the world. The history of Rastafarian head wraps is a testament to the resistance and creativity of the culture, and that has faced many challenges and obstacles. Through the use of head wraps, Rastafarians have been able to celebrate their African heritage and express their identity and spirituality and resist of oppression and cultural ensure. So, like the turbans, when you see a bobber dread in a turban, so turbans are larger head wraps that cover the most of the head, are typically worn by both men and women. They can be laid in several different styles, such as a simple knot or a crown knot, which involves twist and wrapping the fabric around the head in a spiral pattern. Turbans are versatile and can be worn for both formal and casual occasions. So that's the bobber dread. It goes on about their hairstyles and stuff, but I don't think we need all that. But yes, so I'm just thinking to now I'm going to leave it right here because I'm going to have to try. People can send me email and I can talk about, or let me know if you want me to talk on something and I can do it. If I can do it, I'll do it. If I can't do it, I can't. All right, I will say. So I'm going to leave it right here because there was so much interruptions in this one, which is strange. Because when I did the other one, there was no interruptions, no stuttering of the Wi-Fi. But I'm going to leave it right here. Let me just say bye to the people that came through. Ruby Red, Rico, Compassion. Okay, so with that said, I will take my leave and I will see you in the next live. So take care. Bye. Oh, and I hope this was informative because sometimes it's good to have an informative conversation. Like, I don't claim to know everything. All right, I will give you my honest opinion on stuff. Because that's all I can do. I can give you from my experience and I can do my best like that. So we can have conversations like that. So with that said, I will see you in the next live. Take care. Bye.